this very special episode, I'm sitting down with some of my very good friends, Jared and Janelle Burkholder. We will talk about their journey through foster care and adoption and how they have dealt with the changes and grief that opportunity brings. I'm your host, Aaron Miller, pastor of equipping at Grace Baptist Church in Santa Clarita, California. Welcome to Magnify. You're gonna sip your coffee. This is your thing.
I do this.
You
every
always
time.
take a. Oh boy.
Those are the sound effects that I tell my students don't have.
No one.
Because they're annoying.
No one wants that.
No one wants
Whatever.
to hear you
If
eat.
you're driving right now to work, you hear that and you're like, I could use a coffee. Oh my gosh, wouldn't it be great?
Wow. No, Grace Coffee. Come on.
To have some
let's
Grace
use
coffee?
this. Let's mark it.
Let's make a jingle. Feeling kind of sad and you're really tired. Come to Grace Coffee. You'll get wired.
Oh no.
Grace Coffee.
Oh, boy.
Open 8 to 3. I'll
Wow.
stick around, Cam, to record
How many
some
cups
jingles.
have you had this
I've
morning?
had a few cups of coffee. All in the last
No wonder
hour.
why there wasn't any left when I went to get them.
Hey, that's not true.
Okay, there was a cup and a half, but normally there's 2 cups left.
You didn't have any? I thought you'd already had a cup.
No,
We have a very tight ratio in
I
the
did
morning.
not. I did not
We
have
both
any.
get 2 cups exactly
In the morning.
in the morning.
Yeah.
How many cups of coffee do you have?
I do 2 in the morning, early, and then I'll usually find my way to another cup or 2 throughout the day.
What's the highest number of cups you were into at one point in time?
Like regularly?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We drank a lot in college.
Yeah, I started drinking coffee because I was in a journalism class and we had deadlines and it was disgusting.
I had night philosophy
coffee.
class.
Not the journalism class.
This is when I was in seminary. It was up to 9 cups a day for a season.
Little palpitations there?
Yeah,
My
not
heart's
good.
already...
Yeah, it's not good.
Oh.
No, it's not good. It definitely was a problem.
In my head, see, I understand science really well. I have cholesterol problems. So if I drink enough coffee, it forces it to beat faster, which just pumps the cholesterol out. So basically,
Impeccable logic.
I don't need to
Jared.
work out. I just drink coffee.
Jared, do you want to?
Not a doctor.
Do you want
Not a doctor.
Do we want to slide into this? You want to introduce person to your right?
I'm here with my wife, Janelle, and it's such an honor to have her in the Magnify podcast studio.
I'm intimidated, Janelle. Janelle's a teacher. She's a communicator. And she also teaches a podcasting class at Legacy.
But I'm never on it, though.
Oh, you're not?
I'm behind the scenes, yeah.
Yeah, but you know the craft, I would think. I would imagine.
Yeah, but I don't talk on it.
No.
You edit a lot of them.
I edit a lot of them.
So are you going to listen to this or are you not going to listen to this?
I don't know if I'm going to listen to this.
We had Ingrid on here. She did not.
I
She
don't-
still
I-
does not want to
Yeah,
listen.
I don't think I want to.
But you must. Because
Yeah, you must.
what if there's something that is said by Jared, not even by you, by Jared, and you're
Almost
like, I do
certain-
not want that
Almost
known.
certainly going to happen.
Well, it's too late by the time I get to listen to it.
No, we would send you the
No,
rough
you get to
cut.
pre-screen it.
Oh,
We would,
Yeah.
yeah.
okay.
We're very conscientious here.
Yeah, thank you.
This is an intimidating circle to be in right now.
It's not.
Yes,
Just
I know.
friends. Just
Yeah, but-
family. Friends are friends forever, Aaron.
you're a highly educated couple. You're a power couple. And there's like a lot of intellectual stuff flying around the room right now. You're educated. You're educators.
We do correct each other's grammar. She corrects my grammar.
Yeah.
Oh, Janelle, I
On
hate
occasion.
that. Because
No,
you know
I've
why?
stopped.
He corrects my grammar all the time.
Tarmat.
So you do.
I heard about that one.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's just one of many. I mean, there's so many things.
It's all right. You correct my thinking. You give me little philosophical nudges. So it's probably better.
It's like, actually, Jared, that takes away from Christ's deity. Let's not go there.
Right. Well, that's a logical fallacy. No, keep talking, though. It's great.
So can we just get into this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We want to know about you as a couple. How and where did you meet?
Honors English class.
Western Civ class.
Oh, wow.
We have differing
Yeah.
versions of how we met.
Is there a both and here?
No.
In that you both had the same class?
I mean, we're in both classes.
Yeah,
Both
we were in both classes.
Okay, so it occurred to you at different times.
Yeah.
But actually, we should probably back up because I knew
Sure.
about you long before you knew about me,
It's
which
true.
makes me sound like I'm a stalker.
She used to stand outside my
Yeah.
window when I was 3.
Wait,
So
how-
Jared's
how-
family,
Yeah.
they're missionaries, and my childhood church supported his family. So I had some prayer cards of the missionaries in our church because I'm a good spiritual person, love to pray, and also really good-looking guy on the prayer card.
It was my best prayer card, Aaron. To be fair, we'd just been in Florida, so I was very tan.
A little blonde.
I'd put a little sun stuff in my
Oh,
hair.
It was
you
sunning.
did.
I
Oh, yeah.
this was
That
what,
was-
2004?
No,
2003?
2002.
Did you ever
Yeah.
frost tips?
This was my poor man's version of frosted toast.
Okay.
There's
all right.
peroxide in there.
Lemon juice.
What's crazy, though, is like we were in the same room as kids multiple times, never having met. Because like this was my dad's cousin was the pastor, one of the pastors at this church. So we were up there not infrequently.
It's my youth pastor.
We took teams from their church down.
So then
we were in the same room.
You only discovered this in retrospect.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I knew that Jared was at our college because I obviously knew what he looked like from his prayer card, and I could see him.
Right.
Just a minor celebrity.
Yeah.
Hey,
In the
Janelle,
Baptist world.
Janelle, you still have that prayer card?
You know, I don't. But Jared's mom does, though, somewhere.
I'd like to get my hands on
I
that.
can find it.
Yes. Let's add that as like click
The
here.
show notes.
Yeah.
Folks, follow the following link.
Yeah.
Okay. So you met, it's debatable. You
We met
met
in college, freshman year.
college, yeah.
First semester freshman year.
I first noticed Jared in honors English because I ordered the wrong book, which is very unlike me. But I was like the wrong edition. I was trying to save money, and I was a little panicked, and he had the right one, and he let me borrow it. But then also our professor would ask all these questions like we knew what we were doing, and we were all freshmen. We had no idea what we're doing.
Like the first class
I
we
missed
had.
I missed the first class because I had a soccer game, and then she would like ask us all these questions, and you were the only person that actually stood up and said, "We don't have a clue what you're talking about. Try again." And I loved that.
Jared, you would also correct your professors, not just your friends.
Maybe it's a pattern in my life. I don't know. It's hard to say. So I don't remember that. I remember noticing her in Western Civ. But then the first time I like remember talking was we had to do a speech. Like every freshman had to take speech class. You had to do a speech with a prop, which is horrific, but we had to anyway. And so I was going to tell the story of when I got sprayed by a skunk. And I just jokingly said to her, "You don't happen to have like a stuffed animal skunk, do you?" And she's like, "I do." And so I got her number. She actually did have like Pepe Le Pew or something like that.
No, it was Flower from
Oh, yeah.
Bambi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I borrowed the skunk. I got her number. And then I had her number.
That was your move.
That was my move.
Yeah.
The skunk move.
It worked.
So listener, if you're out there,
I mean, was that premeditated, or that just was like happenstance?
I think it was all premeditated. I also remember I knew that she studied in the library at night because she had soccer practice right after class. And so like I just would start going to the library more. And I walked past her Carrel?
I don't know. Tarmat?
Her study desk library
I think
thing.
it's a carol.
And I was like, "Oh, what are you doing here?" Since she let me sit down and talk.
Jared made like 4 passes.
Yeah.
No, seriously, I was there for like 3 hours waiting for her. Several nights.
Getting nervous. No,
Yeah.
I can't do it. I can't do it. Abort.
Come back tomorrow.
So when did you actually officially move in and say, "Hey, let's have a conversation"?
You took me to, what was that
the Messiah.
concert? Yeah.
Messiah concert. And then we went with our pastor and they took us to Perkins for dessert.
Yes, and we got pie.
We got pie. And then there was a romantic spark there. Dated all through college. And then we graduated a semester early because we wanted to get married
And save money.
and save money. Janelle worked really hard to like take a bunch of classes to graduate a
A
semester
little
early.
bitter about this.
And I took one Spanish CLEP test that was so easy and I got 12 credits for it.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, it was great.
Helps
It was
to grow up
amazing.
in Mexico City.
Yeah.
So how long did you date before you got engaged?
We were engaged about a year before we got married.
When did we get married? 2008. So then we got engaged in 2007.
It was spring break.
We started
right?
dating in 2005.
Look at you with the
ish.
math, the dates.
I think. I know, right?
Yes.
Nick Patey would be so proud of me.
Math is not a
not
thing.
good.
Not.
math.
It's not in the Burkholder house. Our poor children.
I just recently
yeah.
miscounted all the CHF boxes we had
I overheard this in your
because
office.
I can't.
Yeah.
You were kind of freaking out.
I was freaking out, and we actually brought in 4 times as many as I thought because every box holds 4. Not good at math.
You were just in your office silently stewing.
I was. It was like we
And
only brought in
depressed.
300 boxes. It's like no. We brought in almost 1,200 boxes.
Now, what's your proposal story like?
It's
Very
it's unexciting.
planned.
I wasn't ever a planner.
No. And so the day that he told me he had this plan from like dawn to dusk, it was like, okay, well,
I do think
something's
that was
up.
actually the beginning of who I am today because I overplan
It was the
everything
beginning
now.
of our flip.
Yeah.
Because I was like the on time, everything is scheduled out to a T, and now we're
And I was like, I grew up in
We're
a place
very
where time
opposite.
didn't matter.
Yeah.
We'll just figure it out. And then that day something switched and Janelle was like, let's just love people. And I'm like, no, we got to be somewhere now. So for whatever reason, I wanted to get engaged at 3:00 on the dot. I don't know why. And so we like had a whole morning and I was dumb. I put the ring box in my pocket. And so like we're walking around and it's very obvious that like I have a ring box on me. It wasn't a surprise.
I remember going to that restaurant where George Washington ate. So that's
Oh,
like
yeah.
that was
In
pretty
Old Salem?
epic. Yeah. I'd never been there
And
before.
we went to Rinalda Gardens.
We went to
and got
Rinalda
ice cream.
Gardens, got ice cream.
And
And then we went to that like lovely little gazebo.
There was this country church by my parents' house because they kind of lived out in the country. And I just remember driving by there all the time thinking like they had this little garden with a gazebo. And I remember thinking for some reason it'd be cute to get engaged there. So I took her there and asked her.
Yeah.
Janelle, did you suspect what was happening?
Oh, yeah. I 100% knew, but I didn't care. Like, I wanted to marry
I was
him.
sweating profusely at 7:30 in the morning.
Did you know that she suspected what was happening?
As soon as I like had the big ring box on me, it was like, this is a mistake.
I just was
But now
a little...
I can't do anything with it.
I was a little confused because you had the ring box when we were at Ronaldo, and then
Well, I was thinking about maybe doing it there.
didn't do anything there, and then we got back in the car, and I was like, okay, I guess that's it. Like,
Took a while to warm up.
Yeah.
We got there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we were engaged a year and got married in
Yes.
Pennsylvania.
And it snowed.
And it snowed on our wedding day, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Do you still keep in contact with your wedding parties?
I do.
Jared's better at that.
We look at our wedding photos, we're like, hey, who's that?
I had to like find people because Jared had like 10 million friends, and I'm the type of person I've got like one or two close friends, and I'm good
Yeah, that was
because I'm an introvert. And I
that
was
was our
like,
story.
do you want to be in my wedding? Anybody?
No, that was our story because I had so many friends. So I had 7 groomsmen. And Ingrid's like, I don't have that many friends. I'm like, well, let's get some. We'll figure it
Yeah.
out.
Just go online.
2 of them are going to be my sisters, so
Right.
we'll get 5 more.
So this happened where like in the span of 3 months, everybody who was in my wedding, I was also in their wedding.
Oh, yeah.
So it was like
No,
a
it
horrifically
was a
expensive season.
It was a season, for sure.
That year, we were in like
Yeah,
6 weddings or something like that.
there were a lot.
I was like, I can't afford to
No.
go to this destination.
That's the
You
Bible
know.
college
No.
thing, though. Like everybody's out of the gate, married.
Destination wedding? No, I can't. I'm poor.
Well, the destinations were all like Michigan, but still, it was expensive to
Sure,
get to Michigan.
sure, but you're still driving, you know. Now, do you all remember your first argument as a married couple?
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
Here
still a little bitter. So
we
again,
go.
it does involve math. When we
All
first
of our
got married,
problems involve my math,
pretty
I mean.
much. When we first got married, we were very poor.
Very.
So I would budget our groceries. We did the whole envelope cash system. And
Dave
so,
Ramsey trademark.
yeah. So, which, by the way, when we got married, we were taking our wedding photos, and someone stopped us and gave us a book. I think it was like the Financial Peace book. It was like some budgeting book.
Yeah.
Like we were doing our wedding photos with someone, a stranger, didn't know them.
Like Dave Ramsey stuff or?
Yeah, it was
Total
like
money
Dave
makeover
Ram.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it was like, thank you.
It
Okay.
actually ended up being helpful.
So I would budget for groceries, and then we go grocery shopping. And as we're going, like I had it, I would always write it down on a piece of paper.
She would
and
keep a running tally
and
of
I
how
would
much
keep
we're
a running
spending.
tally of how much we're spending. So I knew at the end, like, I mean, I think our budget was like $50 a week, and
If that.
if that,
I think it was like 40.
I think we got like, I think it was like 40.
Wow.
Yeah. So
We
I
couldn't
would,
afford to live.
No, it was great. It's probably bad. We got the 2-bedroom apartment. Probably should have gotten the studio.
Should have got the one.
Oh, at the time, I'm still putting you all in Scranton.
No,
No.
we were in North Carolina.
We got married in Pennsylvania, but we were already in North Carolina.
Yeah.
I'm with you. Okay, so you'd already moved down to Winston-Salem.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
got
So
I was working at the mattress firm.
it. Yes. Okay, yeah.
I was just really budget conscious. And then we eat dinner one night and there's leftovers.
Oh no, we got in a fight in the grocery
Oh,
store,
did
didn't
we?
we? Because remember, I was throwing like, we should do Lucky
Oh
Charms.
yeah,
We should do
it was
this.
the sugar cereal.
Yeah, and you're like, we don't have any money for that.
No, but I remember you threw
child.
away leftover chicken. And I
did.
was like, this chicken is still good. We can eat it. Don't you understand?
You throw the poultry away, you go for the Lucky Charms.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
My depression era wife was
Yeah.
not excited about that,
I was not.
Oh, man.
but we recovered.
We did. And
Now I throw.
you
less
know
food
what?
away.
Now we can walk the aisles of IKEA.
Jeez.
You know?
And Swedish meatballs at the end.
Oh yeah.
I'm still upset about that. People who have listened to Magnify
Oh
know
yeah, they'll know that
exactly
one.
what I'm
That's
talking
true. That's a
about.
callback.
So you all have a beautiful family, 3 kids, each of them with unique personalities and proclivities. Can we
Very much
talk
so.
about your story when it comes to those 3 beautiful babies?
Yeah.
Would you like to start, Jared?
Thanks so much. I would love to. So it started with infertility. Right when we were moving here, we started to get an inkling that there was something wrong with us, and didn't really have
I
a
mean,
chance
we
to.
always knew there was something wrong with us, but just in this particular area.
Not just math. It was
Yeah.
it was more extensive than that. But didn't really have a chance to explore the medical options before we moved out here. Got a sense of what it was, but not really a treatment pathway. So we came out here, and Grace used to put on an adoption conference. So we went to that because we had been thinking about that. We were, but we were still kind of thinking like we're going to at least explore some of the fertility stuff. And it kind of came to a crossroads where it was like we needed to figure out, are we going to do fertility things or at least think about adoption? And so we were praying for the Lord to make it clear. We went to a fertility doctor in Burbank who was like, in the 30 minutes we were with him, just seemed like one of the worst people I've ever met in my life. It was like, thank you, Lord.
Yeah.
That was very clear. I don't ever want to
Very
talk to
clear.
this guy again.
I don't want to see you ever, and I'm good.
Pretty bad experience, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So then we started to explore private adoption just for a little bit. Like we met with an agency in Pasadena, but there was a whole bunch of red flags. And for us, at least, it seemed prohibitively expensive. Concurrent to that, we met like Mike and Beth Wilkie and the Wilkowitzes and some others who've been involved in foster care. And it kind of made it seem more possible than we've ever realized.
Yeah.
So we kind of took the plunge.
When we first learned about foster care, it felt like something unattainable, like something that only superheroes do kind of thing. But
and like scary.
Yeah, and
Like a lot of
scary, but
unknowns.
just like to see somebody do it in their everyday life, it was like, oh, actually, like, I mean, it's still scary, but
Yeah.
like it seems doable.
People
and-
normalized it for
yeah.
us. And like they live normal lives while doing
Yeah.
it, which I think it didn't have to upend your entire existence.
Yeah.
So we just decided to try it.
Yeah,
So we jumped into the training.
We
with Children's
figured,
Bureau.
like, I mean, and the beauty of foster care is, while it's a huge life investment, like it's an investment that felt like it fit where we were,
Yeah.
where we were at.
That's what I was going to ask you. Like, did you discover yourselves in that
Yeah.
quite naturally, or did
Yeah.
Yeah.
you need to have a little bit of a conversion into it?
No, I think as soon as we started, it was like this is what we were meant to do.
Yeah.
100%.
'cause you would-
like
you
I've never felt that way really about anything, I don't think, in my life, but it has been the one thing in my life where I think God has just
Mhm.
gifted us to do this.
Like our personalities and skill sets are very good at that. We're very different skill-wise and personality-wise and like bring different strengths to the weird foster care table.
Because you would agree that not everyone should do this.
No.
Absolutely not.
No.
Yeah. I think more people should do it, but not everyone should do
Sure,
it.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think everyone can support it,
Yes.
but I don't necessarily think everyone should be a foster parent.
It's given you both unique avenues into the lives of people for the sake of the gospel and the stories that you're able to step into
Yeah.
as players there. It's very unique.
It's been awesome. I mean, she works at a Christian school. I obviously work at a church. So we're just around Christians all the time. It's been a good way to get outside the Christian bubble and like be at a random McDonald's in the AV with somebody or have lots of people in our home. It's forced us, but allowed us to do some of that, which has been great.
So tell me about your kids.
Well, I always feel like I should mention, while we have 3 kids in our home right now as part of our family, we also there are 4 other kids that we've had through our family. So I want to give them a shout out. Not that they're ever going to listen to this,
They might.
but they might.
never know.
You never know. But the kids that we have been able to adopt, or hopefully soon, we've got a 7-year-old, a 3, almost 4-year-old, and a 1-year-old who's turning 2 soon.
Yeah.
And they're all
and the
crazy.
youngest is
The youngest
only one
is
that-
the only,
Still
yeah,
foster kid, yeah.
still
Yeah.
foster kid.
We're like at the last step with him. There's just a paperwork hiccup
Yeah,
as is common. Yeah.
lots of paperwork.
We had 2 that we fostered prior to Andy. 1 we fostered concurrently with Andy. Then got Andrew. We had 2 more, and then got Selah, and then Danny came along.
Yeah,
The longest we had was Claudia.
yeah. She stayed with us for about a year. We had a great relationship. I feel like a lot of the foster stories out there are foster care horror stories about how terrible biological family is. That has not been our experience. I know that's not necessarily the same for everybody, but we've had great relationships with bio families. They've taught me a lot. They've been so gracious to us as we're parenting their kids. It's been good. I remember we actually had Selah's sister, and when she went to live with her biological family and they had a baby shower for her, they invited us, and we were essentially guests of honor. Like
Yeah.
it was
amazing.
incredible, the love that they have showed us. Is
And we still keep in touch with them, which
Yeah.
is pretty cool.
every time a kid comes into our family, we make them a life book, which is just basically a photo album that has a bunch of pictures, and like we write stuff in there, and then we leave when they reunify, we leave our phone number in there. So
We write them a letter.
Ever, we write them a letter. If ever they want to call us, when they turn 18 or whatever, and they're like, I'm just interested. This was a weird, what a weird year of my life. I see all these pictures.
Yeah.
Who are these people?
And we leave a letter in like a Jesus Storybook Bible. So just hopeful that it goes somewhere.
What sort of emotional challenges has that presented for you all? I mean, because I do remember the first one.
Yeah.
I remember that was hard.
I think the hardest part is just because while you try to pack up all their stuff so that they can take it, inevitably there's something that gets left behind because they're kids, and kids are messy and their things are everywhere. So I think it's just really hard coming back.
To an
For
empty
me,
house.
the hardest part was coming back to an empty house, or even if, it wasn't necessarily an empty house because we had Andrew at that point, but just coming back to things that were still theirs or their room, that now there's an empty bed. And
Those experiences bring
Yeah.
you closer together as a couple?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got good at grieving with like a bag of Cheetos on the floor.
Yeah.
The Costco-sized bag of Cheetos.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where have you needed the most grace in parenting?
Probably shouldn't name names on here.
I love my children very much. No, I do think something that I wasn't prepared for in foster care is the different parenting strategies that we need to use, and honestly, the different parenting styles that we have to have because our kids are different, for better or worse. Our kids have different needs than families who have bio kids. Like it is, like we're very honest about it. We're very open about it. And so I think with that comes some struggles.
And
Because
endurance,
some-
I
yeah,
think. Like,
yeah.
I would know that conceptually, but like to be at the end of the day and everybody's tired, everybody just wants to go to bed, and those are the moments that like really matter. I think
Yeah.
it's hard. We go through seasons where we do it well and then seasons where we do it very unwell, of like being intentional with the time that we have and not having it like everything's on fire. We got to get dinner, baths, homework, and get to bed.
And looking at our kids, they all have different needs. Like every kid has different needs. But for us, some of our kids, the reason they got into the foster care system was because they were born addicted to drugs. And so that has an effect on their development, on their growth, on their emotions. And one of our kids does not have that. So like just looking at how we're parenting differently, but also feeling like the one who's more typically developing, maybe sometimes gets left out because all of our parenting energy is to the kids that have needs that are greater than a typical kid. And so sometimes I do feel like I'm a bad parent in that, just because I don't spread my parenting evenly, and I know it's not possible to do no matter who your kids are. But there's a lot of effort into the ones that have more needs, and so it's difficult.
Mm-hmm.
My heart goes out to the both of you as a close friend, watching you go through what feels to me like an emotional gauntlet through all these experiences 7 times, and not knowing which one is actually going to be the one that God is going to give you for the rest of their lives. And when I watch parenting happen differently for everyone else, it's planned as much as you can. There's then that process of 9 months that everyone's growing with anticipation, and it's coming, and we're going to have the exciting gender reveal or whatever, and then, right? And your story's been like 0 to 100, you hit the ground running,
Right.
nonstop.
Yeah.
We haven't even had time to let the family know.
Yeah.
Which is like
It's
part of what we love about it is the chaos.
If I'm honest, there's an adrenaline rush there.
Like getting the phone call is the coolest thing in the world. Because
Right.
it's like, whatever I'm doing today, I am no longer doing. I'm going to go pick this baby up.
So then, but that also works in the reverse.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so
Yes.
100 miles per hour, all of a sudden,
100%.
Done.
Yes.
Totally done.
Yes.
Sometimes within a couple
in
hours,
fact,
too.
one phone call we got saying like, okay, we're reunifying this morning.
And
It was
you
a
had 2
Friday.
hours.
It was a Friday morning. Jared happened to be working for some weird reason. Like, I think you were speaking somewhere. So,
Yeah.
I couldn't get a hold of you. And I panicked. And I quickly, I called Beth Wilkie. Like, what do I do? Jared's at work. I have to go to work. I can't. I'm like, Beth, calm me down. Talked through it. Called their social worker. Called bio family. And again, that's where, the bio family was super gracious. And okay, so the judge said this, but let's just all take a deep breath here and figure out how to handle this. But yeah, it's super emotional.
like I could not do that. Emotionally, I could not do that. I'm in awe of it because I would be a wreck. Now, I'm sure that you all felt like you felt that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that you're superhuman in some way,
Yeah.
but God has given extra measures of grace.
Janelle's pretty strong, honestly. I've been a wreck at several points. She's like really even-keeled. and I
Maybe
think
I'm
has
a
kept us-
robot.
Jared, all of us who know you well, praise God for Janelle.
Yeah,
I mean,
right? Like in spades. Jeez.
Mike and Abby, we've had this conversation with them about how foster parenting just makes what regular parenting is, it's just heightened. Because for everybody, their kids you're not guaranteed. Your kids aren't yours.
Right.
I don't own my kids. You don't own your kids. You biologically had your kids, but you don't own them.
Right.
They're ours for however long God chooses to give them to us. And so I would like for it to be more than a few months, but
And I think, at least for me, there was a shift over time of thinking only about foster care in terms of how can I get the most kids as painlessly as possible, as fast as possible,
Mm-hmm.
and seeing value and getting to be part of the process, even if the outcome wasn't that we got to adopt.
Which honestly is easier once we were able to adopt.
It was way easier
Yeah.
to have a kid at home,
Yeah.
to not have to come back to an empty house.
Yeah.
What would you want people in the church to know about foster care adoption in terms of how they talk about it, how they can support it?
Please don't ask me, do I plan to have kids of my own?
And don't tell me a story about, oh, we know someone who adopted and then the next day they got pregnant. Like, nope. It's
Not going to
happening here.
happen.
Yeah.
So those sorts of insensitivities.
Yeah.
Not
Which,
helpful.
and
No.
I mean, if I'm totally honest, I did that. I'm sure I did that before we started struggling with infertility. So I get like a lot of people have a good heart behind it, but
Well, when you say also they can support it, what does that look like? Like, what would it look like for me to support that?
exactly what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, you
coming
have.
over, like, I mean, honestly, coming over, hanging out with our kids.
There's been a half a dozen times where we've called you and like, we need somebody to talk to.
Well,
And you've
you
come over.
and you and Ingrid watched when we went to pick up Andrew. Oh yeah, you watched Faith.
It was Faith.
Yeah.
That's right.
So it's like stuff like that where
At
it's
the
like
Banky's house.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
And then we
right.
got Taco Bell.
Yeah.
Well, that's also an easy bridge for me because of natural friendship. But
Yeah.
if someone's listening to this and they would like, hey, I'd want to support the effort, like what could they do?
I think becoming like a trusted part of someone's family experience is really helpful.
Okay.
So like if you would say, I want to be involved, to find someone who's doing that,
Right.
and in a non-weird way, in a non-invasive way,
Sure.
just to move towards them.
Right.
It's not glamorous stuff we need help with, right? It's
Yeah.
like when we get a call, it's so helpful for someone to drop off diapers and Big Macs or
Yeah.
something like that. You
Sure.
know?
Right.
Or somebody one time they sent us a laundry service randomly, and at first I was like, well, that's weird. It was so helpful.
Yeah.
It's like they washed our clothes for us. One time Abby came over and cleaned our house
Yeah, that's right.
because it was just we were in a bind, stuff like that. Or I think what I need right now is just someone I need to feel seen, to say, I see you in your parenting, and I see that it's hard, and I see that this is difficult and it's different. And just to acknowledge the differences. I think sometimes we're so afraid to like just mention it. And it's like, no, like we're very open with our kids that they're adopted. We're very open about what we do.
That must be a Google call.
Yeah, that must
You
be
wanna take
the
it?
foster care.
Do you want to take it?
You
Want to take it?
Take it.
You step out of the room and we can we'll pick it back up when you get back.
Hey, Grace. I just stepped out to take a phone call, but now I'm stepping back in to remind you about membership class coming up on May 6th. Coming to the membership class doesn't obligate you to join our church, just a chance to hear from some of our pastors more about what we believe and what we believe God calls his people to in living as a part of a local church community. It's a great chance to meet new people at Grace and just explore together the calling and the benefit and the privilege of church membership. You can find out more information by going to gracebaptist.org/membership, and you can register for the class there. Hope to see you guys there.
We good?
We're good.
I didn't know if it was the Avengers calling you. Or...
No, it's just foster care.
We're like at
Foster
the
care
last
stuff.
step with Danny, and there's some stuff that happened this morning, so we're like,
Yeah,
if the phone
no,
call comes in.
that was regional center. He has his
evaluation.
yearly something.
So that should happen anytime. With
Well, it's like
Danny?
I need them to tell me that this paperwork thing's cleared, so I can tell our lawyer to file and.
Oh, you know what else would be super helpful is, someone that can do paperwork with you. Just come over and sit with you and do paperwork.
Yeah.
They don't even have, they could just be present.
paperwork.
Janelle is a godsend when it comes to paperwork. I'm so unorganized, and she has like accordion folders for
Praise
everyone.
the Lord
I have an
for
allergy to
Google
it.
Drive. Because when we first started, Google Drive was not a big thing. And now I'm very organized with the kids' paperwork until they become adopted. And then it's like, well, you're on your own now.
Yeah, that's
now I
fine.
don't have
We're
to do
done.
all this stuff.
How do you both support one another as parents and as a couple?
Jared sends me away to the beach to be by myself. And it's the best thing ever.
Is that your happy place?
That's my happy place.
Beach, book,
Yeah.
alone time?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't get a lot of alone time. You're always up to your ears in somebody, either at school or at home. Janelle's just like a stabilizing force in the chaos. I think like I can do the people stuff fine, but there's just so much happening all the time in foster care, and she just takes care of all of us. Like
Brings
all
an
the paperwork's
organization to
done.
it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like I can't keep track of like Andy's basketball schedule, and we have 8 therapies a week for the kids.
Yeah.
She just has this amazing ability.
I printed it out. It's in our kitchen.
I know, but I can't even read the chart.
Well,
okay. I color coded it for you.
Pretty dumb.
Janelle, you have to leave the numbers off.
Yeah. It's the
Colors
math.
are good.
Okay.
Colors
Got it.
good.
Step one.
Yeah, but then there's a key, and that's too much. It was
No.
over the top.
Yeah.
No, buddy, it's not step one. It's step blue.
Just tell me where to be and when.
Step red.
I think foster care has enabled, facilitated, caused us to just learn how to talk about our emotions better.
Mhm.
I'm not good at that. You're a lot better at that than I am. So I think just learning how to grieve, that's okay.
Yeah.
To recognize that we're at different spots. So for some kids, their reunification has been harder for one of us than the other. So learning how to verbalize that and just be together in that.
Or just to sit with grief
Yeah.
and to realize it's okay if it's not ever done.
Yeah.
Because I don't know that it would be.
What's it like being married to a pastor, Janelle?
I never imagined that I would marry a pastor. I always thought I was going to marry a baseball player. And here we are.
Basically the opposite of
Yeah.
whatever a baseball player would be. Yeah.
That's interesting. Why a baseball player?
I don't know.
Sure.
Went to a lot of baseball games. as a
Professional
kid.
athlete.
Yeah. Which now sounds terrible because they'd be gone all the time.
It's
So I'm very glad that I'm not
I like to
married
think
one of
if
those.
your parents could conceive of the perfect spouse for you, I am the exact opposite of that.
Yes.
Oh, Jay, come on, man.
Which is why I love you.
Just can you fix anything? I cannot. One time, never mind.
What? Tell it.
One time they bought me
Yeah.
a hose and some car wash because they're like, your cars are really dirty. I'm like, that's fair. Yeah, they are.
You can at least do that, right?
Yeah. They're like, do you know how to use a hose? Like, I think I probably could hook it up. It's lefty-loosey, righty-tighty, right?
Righty-tighty.
No, I love it. I am thankful that Grace doesn't expect me to fit into a certain box
Mm-hmm.
because I don't.
We love that too.
Yeah.
I think both of our stories coming from other churches, that was not the case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
that's
absolutely
not the
not.
case.
Yeah.
And so that
And
has been a
not
wonderful.
always spoken expectations, but very present.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
It was a godsend to move here and then not have to work in nursery and not be in charge of baby showers. Just where we were with our life, it was like, I needed that breath of fresh air and I needed to remove myself from all the baby stuff because it was too much. But in a small church,
Sure.
someone's
You are
got
very
to
good
do
at
it.
baby shower games too.
I was very good at baby
Yeah.
shower games.
You've been at Grace what?
It'd be 9 years. in
9
August.
years?
Man,
Time flies.
yeah,
It's the longest I've ever lived anywhere in one spot.
that's
crazy.
crazy.
Do you know what's one thing you would want people to know about Jared that they don't?
That's a lot of pressure. I don't want them to know anything. I want to keep them all to myself.
That speaks completely to your personality. That is
That he does the heavy lifting in our house with dishes and cooking and getting the kids ready in the morning. And I don't think anyone ever sees that. And no one expects him to do that
Now you are a super
from the
dad.
outside. But
I've seen
Yeah.
you maneuver and handle like a stroller and a car seat like a champ.
From
Like an
years of fumbling
engineer.
with it.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
helping one time. You're like, idiot, get out of the way. I was like, I don't know what to do.
I can't do math, but I can do strollers.
oh yeah, no, he gets people places and does it well. And when I'm gone at night, which doesn't happen very often, but every once in a while I'll have a work thing, and he has the kids to bed right on time. They
6:59.
dishes are done, floor is swept. And I mean, I spent this morning, none of that stuff is done, but I'm here. I made it. The kids are alive. And that's kind of that's my success. But no, Jared does a really good job with that.
All right, Jay, same question.
Janelle is a really good musician, really good pianist. She played all throughout high school. She played in college. And I don't think anybody ever gets to see that here. She used to play at some churches we were at. And she's a really good writer. So she has written well over 100 poems and has even gotten one published in an online magazine. So nobody ever knows that about her. But I get to read all her poems, and they're incredible. And almost always they make me cry.
Are those poems available for friends to read?
Sure.
Okay. I didn't know how,
yeah.
private they are. That's fantastic.
I write them on my phone, which as a teacher is like, oh, don't write on your phone. Who does that? But it's just because usually they come to me when I'm running.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so then I'm like, stop.
So are you telling me that
Hey,
you have
right.
a poem on your phone right now?
Yeah.
What is the likelihood of you giving a live reading on a podcast?
Sure. What do you want to hear?
Well,
what do we
I don't
got?
even know.
I don't even know either. I also have a list of things I got to get done today, so there's that.
We could read that too.
Let's read that as
Fix
well.
the dishwasher.
By the way, Janelle does all the fixing in our house. I don't fix anything.
That's our marriage too.
I did change the batteries in the smoke detector last year, and I feel pretty good about that still.
Oh, I wrote this one for Daniel, but before we knew he was going to be Daniel, because we thought that we were going to name him Owen.
Owen,
because
that's right,
when
yeah.
he came to us, he didn't have a name,
Right.
supposedly. But
then
then
he
they were
did.
like 2 weeks later, they're like, oh, just kidding. His name is Daniel.
Didn't you just slide Owen into the middle?
Yeah.
name?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We will.
Okay.
Wait, let me set it up. Ladies and gentlemen, Janelle Burkholder.
No pressure. On adoption for Owen, who's now Daniel. Someday there won't be an asterisk by your name. You'll be fully you and fully ours. Or not, but fully something. Not an add-on, not an explanation. Your history understood. How strange a sense of belonging matters in one's worth. Like hard-packed Carolina clay, your past makes a mark. It's unchangeable and foundational in what makes you, you. Others scoff at the stain it leaves and beg you to make them comfortable by changing your story or ignoring it altogether. But your story is as beautiful as it is broken. Wanted and unwanted, a paradox of emotions, a both and. Your belonging being forged by those willing to wade through the mud and welcome you home.
And I think it's perfect to leave it right there. Folks, thanks so much for streaming into Magnify. Next week, you'll have a sit down with Joe Keller and 2 very special guests. Hope you'll be able to stream in. Thanks for listening. Thank you so much for joining us today. Make sure to subscribe to Magnify Podcast so you never miss an episode. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with others. Post about it on social media or leave a rating and review. We would love to hear from you, so if you have any questions you'd like to ask in our mailbag, you can email them to magnify@gracebaptist.org, and we will answer them on the show. Thank you so much for streaming.
Feeling kind of sad and tired. Come to Grace Coffee. You'll get wired. Grace Coffee.